KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
Me in the morning at 8:30 at the exciting Greater New St. John Primitive Baptist Church, 2529 56th Street. Dr. Bethany Davis is the pastor. Come on, everybody to the church.
And you can also meet yours truly, Deacon Louis Mitchell, at the St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church, which is located at 1600 Pearl Street in sunny South Dallas. That's where my pastor happened to be, the Reverend Lalius A. Johnson. Our service starts at 7:45 a.m. tomorrow morning, and our regular service starts at 10:45. So be there. It's at 1600 Pearl Street in sunny South Dallas.
I believe me and my wife, we're going to be going to St. Mark Missionary Baptist Church, where I was birthed at, and visit my father in the ministry, Pastor Allen Jean Madison, over on Phillip Street. We'll be at St. Mark Missionary Baptist Church tomorrow, me and my wife. Y'all pray for us.
All right. We're so happy to have Reverend Barnett is in the house. Good morning, Reverend Barnett. I don't know if your mic is on yet or not.
It should be on now.
Good morning, Dr. David.
Yes, sir. I can't hardly hear him, though. Yes, sir. How you doing? I still can't hear him. Let me see. Let me see if I can hear you now, Reverend. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, I'd like to say good morning to the morning crew and Dr. Ezra Davis and all of y'all who really had it going on this morning.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Sounds so good, so inspirational.
I think one of your guests called me at home, Brother Roscoe Smith.
Yes,
yeah, he told me make sure you be on time because he got something in store this morning.
Okay. All right. Well, we want to hear what Roscoe have going on.
All right. Well, I guess you got a great lineup this morning.
Well, we got a few.
Yes, sir. You want to invite them to your church?
Oh, I'd love to. Everyone is invited to Heavenly Joy Church that's located at Bruton and Masters there in the Pleasant Grove area of Dallas. And I tell you what, coming the day before Easter, we're having a big barbecue there. A whole lot of barbecue. One of the best barbecuers in Texas will be barbecuing for us. He's a member of Heavenly Joy. And his name is Don Pearson. Come out of East Texas barbecuing, and it's all free. We're just giving it all away, just having a good time out there. And the next day, Easter Day, we have the biggest Easter egg hunt in Pleasant Grove every year. So all the kiddos are invited to come out and have a good time with us.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
All right, well, we're looking forward to that, Reverend Barnett.
Looking forward to seeing you fellas come by and get some barbecue.
Okay, we're going to try to make our way. Yes, sir.
I don't think y'all want 100 eggs, but y'all can get some.
No. Listen, we appreciate you so very, very much, and hope you have as you do every Saturday morning, have a great community forum.
All right.
Y'all stay tuned for Reverend Barnett. He's coming up at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, we get ready to make our way out of here.
So, I'm gonna kick it with the line, y'all know. Slim, can I kick it like that? Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love, sent by one from heaven up above. Take a pity, it's simple and plain. This ain't no game, you know what I'm saying? What? Yep. Time to make the change. Here we go. We are the people who can do it. Oh yeah. Time to make the change. We are the people who can do it. Yo, Mom.
We'd like to say good morning. This is Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Each and every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. We thank God, and we thank Doc. We thank Clint for producing this morning, and we're rolling. And Doc been still trying to get me into Germany, but they let me know I'm not one of their favorite sons over there, so we can't get in. Y'all, we're going to have to do something about it. They got a block on my show. The rest of them get in, I don't. But that's all right. I'm glad I'm here. I'm in your hearts here in Dallas-Fort Worth, the Metroplex, the greatest place on earth to live. The best life on earth is in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. You're in a huge area, but you're not crowded. You're in an area that you can get a job here. You can, if you can't survive in Dallas, you can't survive anywhere. You ought to be able to thrive. A great, great area to live. It has its issues. Oh, yes, it has issues. We're not confused about issues. No. But I can't think of a better place. I've been just about everywhere. You name it, I've been there. I've been spent time there. No place like Dallas. No place like Dallas-Fort Worth. We count Fort Worth in. It's it's our stepchild, but we'll count it in. But we treat them halfway decent over there. But anyway, great place to live. Great place to live. You'd love it. Those who are listening on the internet, if you are tired of struggling where you are, Dallas-Fort Worth, try it. You will love it. It's a beautiful area, the most beautiful city in the United States by far. Clean, large city. Huge metropolitan area. I think we're about 6.6 million people. I think we're right on the heels of we're coming after Chicago area, and to be the third largest area in the United States. So it's a lot going on. I need Clint. Clint, look me up those metropolitan areas again. See where we are now, and we'll look those.
We're number 5.
We're number 5.
Yes.
We're behind what? San Francisco.
San Francisco.
That was
Chicago,
a shocker.
L.A. and New York.
I thought Philadelphia area would be bigger than San Francisco.
No, and number 6 is the Houston area. So
6 is right behind. So 6 is Houston area is bigger than the Philadelphia area.
yes.
Boy, that's a huge. When you flying over Philly, that's a huge area. My God, you fly a long time. I thought it would be there, but San Francisco has. It must be counting San Jose and all of that in there too. All those other places, but we're right there. We're moving faster. We're growing faster than anybody. Growing faster than anybody. But anyway, got a lot of things to talk about. A lot of things going on this morning. We first want to invite you out. Come out on the 30th of September. Come to Heavenly Joy Church. We'll be on the outside, inside, everywhere. We're having a big barbecue. This is the day before Easter weekend. Come by and pick up you some barbecue. All of this is free of charge. We'll be having a great time. There. Music, singing, doing everything. We're having a great time there. I'm expecting all of my listeners to come by. I'm looking for all of you. Come on, Ike and Elder Scott, you name them. All of my listeners, Joe, everybody, all you young ladies and young men and old ladies, old men, middle-aged, whatever you are, come by and have yourself a great time. And then on the next day, immediately after morning worship, we'll have the big Easter egg hunt, the biggest Easter egg hunt in Pleasant Grove. We have it every year. Bring the kiddos by and let them have a great time, have some fun out there hunting eggs. We have just, literally hundreds and hundreds of them, maybe thousands of eggs out there for them to find. So you're invited. That'll be March 30th. That's the day before Easter. Come by Heavenly Joy Church. And just a myriad of things. We are expecting some people in a few minutes. I got a ring from Mr. Robert Pitre. I don't know where he is. He must be on the road. He's coming. And other people. But we did have Dr. Jarvis Edwards going to be on this morning. But we had to switch that. He being a doctor, he can't never tell when he's going to have an emergency. And he just called me as I was coming up the elevator and let me know that he was not going to be able to make it. And we're going to be having also Roscoe Smith and that team talking about the big summit coming April 5th and 6th at Friendship West Baptist Church, Educational Summit. They're looking, the group is called CASE, and they are looking out for the African American children and all children in DISD to make sure that they are seen after, make sure they're getting a good quality education. So that'll be April 5th and 6th. I think it starts about 5:30 that Friday evening out at Friendship West. And it picks up that Saturday morning about 8:30 or 9. Brenda, if you're listening, Brenda Fields, if you're listening, call and give me an update. Give me the exact information. Don't want anybody to get mixed up on the information on the April 5th and 6th for CASE. This is something everybody's invited out to be. If you care anything about children and education, you be there at Friendship West. That's located at 2020 West Wheatland Road. So everybody is invited. Everybody is invited to be out and a part of that. We got just a lot of things going on. The rioting in Brooklyn. Are we going through another 60s? Is it warranted? What do we need to do? People, there's so much anger, hatred, and fear out there. It's everywhere. What are we going to do? What's going on? What's going on in our nation? As you travel the world, you'll find that America has a golden opportunity to really capture not just the purse strings and the power of the world. America has the opportunity to capture the hearts of the world, because after the election of the President Barack Obama, many people worldwide, European nations, Asian nations, African nations, all Australia, they looked and said, wow, it's a new day. It's a new day in America. And people were thrilled. But we have a segment of America that don't want us to move forward. This is a segment of white America don't want us to move forward. It's not it's not your typical average everyday white American, but there are those out there, there's too many of them, that wants this nation to stay stagnant in a quagmire of bigotry, hatred, and racism, and they don't realize that day is passing fast. But there are those who still trying to hold on, and I wonder about this. But where are we going as a nation? Right now, I would like to thank Mr. Robert Pitre. He's joined us. He's just come back off a long trip, and he is promoting his guide map, and he's talked about helping youth. He have different conferences on for the youth during the time, all down through the years. And I noticed one of the other radio talk show hosts, he has a national show, and he's a national figure. He's having a conference at his ranch in the Metroplex for youth. This is something Mr. Pitre been doing for years, and Steve Harvey is kind of copy, but whatever. It's not. We need all the help we can get with our youth, and raising young men and giving them some type of leadership and guidance is something you've been trying to do for years, Robert. And how are you coming with it? How is it going? Where do you see it right now?
Well, the Life Guide map is getting exposure all over America. And the Life Guide map is a visual of life. Now, as I travel America and as I talk to people all over America, talk about the problems that's facing our youth, it's critical that we get involved in dealing with the problems that our youth are facing, all over America. The inner city is in trouble all over America for the lack of economic development. It's an economic embargo against the inner cities of America. And sooner or later, it's going to blow up. As I see the youth all over America, the trouble that they're in, the lack of knowledge, principle, morals, respect for others, the hate that they have in them because of the conditions that they are born and raised in. And I see the American government investing in other countries. And, I've seen what the vice president went over to Syria and brought him a check for $60 million, and they just gave him a check a few months before for $50 million. That's $110 million. And then I travel America and see our youth, unemployment, lack of opportunities, knowledge. I see our community blighted and hopeless and drug infested, and people feeling that the way they can make money is selling drugs. And when you got crime where you can't even walk out your door, they knocking elderly people in the head and taking their money from their Social Security checks. And I mean, it's bad in the inner cities of America, and it's getting worse. It's not getting better. But when you look at why, every country, every city, every community has to have money. I mean, it's just like the money is just like blood flowing through a human body, your veins. Your blood has to flow. Money has to flow through the inner city, and that economic embargo keeps money from flowing through the inner city. And then when you look at the condition of most of the youth, I mean, they're ignorant with lack of knowledge and no respect for themselves and others, and you got some problems. And and Rev, I've been predicting what's going to happen in these cities, the conditions that we're dealing with right now. I said that, hey, you need to go in business for yourself. You need to start supporting your community and your businesses in your community. And this is something that we don't do. We take our money when we get paid, we go and give it to other communities, other races. We depend on other races and communities for our food, our clothes, our shelter, the employment of our families, the education of our children. So I mean, it's bad. And then you have conspirators that has conspired to make a lot of things happen to it. And then we could overcome this situation if we face up to it. When you look at 48% of all the new age cases in America is blacks, from the age 13 to 24. When you look at that population, 60% of the new age cases is blacks. I mean, that's by design. AIDS is a man-made disease, and they have dropped it off in our communities, just like crack cocaine. When you look at what has happened, in 1980 when they dropped crack cocaine in the inner cities of America, it's destroyed. It's the fabric of our community. When it destroyed the lives of many, many people, even doctors and lawyers and teachers, and it has affected so many athletes, and it's affecting us more and more and more now. And when you look at this young, the youth, the African American youth, he don't see no other way. He is angry. He's mad in most cases. And then when you look at 75 to 80% of them grow up without a father in their life. It's some, this is really, and then when you hear, the leadership in our community overlooking the problems that our community is facing, and you got politicians that is selling us out and taking money from whites where they supposed to be investing in our community and standing up for our community. They trying to figure out how to put some money in their pocket for themselves. So we got some issues, Rev.
All right. If you're just joining us, this is radio station Knon 89.3 FM. The voice of the people. I tell you what, you can call us at 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Lolita. All righty. Lolita, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, Reverend Barnett. How are you?
Fine.
Good. Sorry about the echo. I want to agree with the brother on the call.
Yes.
And we have failed our children. And I'm a bus operator here at DART, and every day my struggle is to inform some child. You know, I've got high school kids who can't even open the Bible to Genesis 1. I'm sharing with them, you know, some of the basic things. Which way am I headed on the bus? They don't know that's north or south or east or west. We as parents are going too far in relationships.
Are you saying children don't even know directions? They don't know the compass?
No, they don't know directions. They don't know how to open their Bible. And I share a study with them. Reverend Barnett, it's urgent that we all, as people, just on the bus or at the store, we get involved in these kids. These kids got these radios in their ears that the parents are buying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you walk past somebody, you don't even know how to say good morning because you're listening to that thing in your ear.
Well, we're working. We talked with Brother Ransom out in Lancaster. We're working on putting something together to teach some basic skills to our young people. See, there are basic jobs that are good paying jobs. See, most people don't realize brick masonry is a good job. It's a high paying job. Just doing construction work, they make big money. We're putting that together, and
trash man is a good job.
Well,
Good job is a good job.
Work is honorable, and it's more. We're gonna have to teach them. It's far more than selling drugs, doing things. Now, most of our children is not doing it, but we have too large a percentage that is carrying on these practices that are unproductive for the community. And we're struggling. So I've talked with Brother Ransom, and he is fired up. He's ready to go. And we got to get things together. This man can do. He has many trades and things that he know how to do that he's willing to share and teach our young people. And one of the things we're going to need is some things that are fine in construction. He's going to teach them the basic. Then we'll probably move to having them to come in, and if elderly people need their houses fixed up differently, he'll teach them how to do this and do all this for free, helping our community out and helping those who don't have money. A mother with house full of children that can't afford it. We're going to try to get jobs like that and teach these young men how to fix these places up and do different things. It's going to take the entire community. It's going to take a lot of people working with us to make us, make donations, different things. We're talking about that and how to put it together and invite young men to how to learn how to be carpenters. Just so many trades out there that I think.
Let me touch on this real quick and I'm going to go. But the juvenile system is making our children criminals, where these children are not able to get jobs and everything because they're young and making bad decisions and putting all a lot of money on the parents because the kids didn't go to school. I think they should develop a program where, like you say, let them go in a nursing home and work in the laundry room. Let them go and do some yard work. Let them teach them responsibility, how it is to work.
Yeah.
Instead of starting these parents up.
We don't want to stifle businesses, but if it's people that just can't afford it and will not be able to live to do any better, can't afford to pay a business, we want to be able to go in there and help people that can't help themselves. Yeah. That's the best way to do it. All right, I tell you what. Annie says I'm up against a break. All right. I thank you for your call. And y'all can call us at 972-647-1893. 1893.
Jim Hightower has moved to be a part of KNON's Speak Up Saturday. Jim Hightower's segments can now be heard at the start of each of KNON's great talk programming, starting at 7 a.m. with Reverend Marion Barnett's show, Church Information and Open Forum, with the news and talk of South Dallas. Then at 9, the CWA presents Workers Beat with the news and talk of the unions, hosted by Gene Lance and Bonnie Mathias. At 10, the Dallas Observer presents Get Off My Lawn with Jim Schutz, bringing you the other side of Dallas news. Finishing up Speak Up Saturdays at 11 is Lambda Weekly with the news and talk of the LGBTQ community, hosted by David Taffet, Patty Fink, and Lauren Landis. Now starting at each of these shows is Jim Hightower's insightful segment at 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 a.m. each and every Saturday morning right here on the Voice of the People, KNON 89.3 FM.
This is Sunny Boy Mark, and I'd like to take a minute here to tell you about over 60 minutes of great blues listening available now on KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. This is some great stuff, folks. 15 tracks from the Two Tones, Blues Boy Bo, Buddy Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, Johnny Red and the Roosters, the Chris Watson Band, the Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, David Millsap, Sir Loin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, and JJ and the Detonators. The 1,000 copies we made are selling fast, and we won't reissue it. Get yours now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records and Rewind Music. The CD is available as a download at cdbaby.com. All proceeds benefit KNON, sponsored by Forever Young Records. Vinyl copies available at Forever Young Records only. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org. Your ears been bending for some blues? Well, feed them the real thing with Texas Blues Radio Volume 5.
R&R Productions presents the Sensational Harmonizers album debut. Saturday, March the 30th at the Greater Macedonia Primitive Baptist Church, located at 8343 Bruton Road in Dallas. Featuring the Southern Sons of Memphis, Tennessee, Reverend E.J. Lee and the Rapturers of Dallas, Kings of Harmony Plus One, Minister Israel Davis, and the new outstanding gospel singers from Fort Worth. Guest MC, Sister Francis Smith. Doors open at 4:30, program starts at 5. Tickets available at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie and Bill's Records on Lamar in Dallas. For further information, 214-275-7560 or 214-375-8150.
All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Mr. Robert Pitre is our special guest. He's always here with us. He got some things he want to tell us. He's been traveling and on the road. He's going to tell us about that. And also thank you, Annie, and thank you, Doc and Clint, all producing here in the studios. And you can call us at 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. And we were talking about this, and those who are hanging online saying we're coming to you in just a moment, about trying to develop, not just criticize, but develop our community, develop the young men and teach skills. Believe me, we could be a great society in our community. We flourish from the 60s into the 70s, but some type of trepidation, something happened in the 80s and 90s that derailed us. And do you think, was it the presidency of Ronald Reagan? What happened to us?
Well, I think that
we went through Nixon and didn't get tripped up like this.
Right. We kind of got away from ourselves in integration. You know, we got, and then at the same time they dropped the drugs in our community, and it's been a struggle for us, and it's downhill. Our community it's been downhill since the 70s when they came out with the Superfly movies and saying it was all right to sell.
We didn't go down to Tuesday.
Yeah, that's when it started, Rev. That's when it started.
You know, we were in high heel shoes. The men were.
Right. But when when they dropped the drugs, they dropped the lifestyle.
Zach Thompson on this program announced the coming of crack. Nobody had ever heard of it. Right on this program, who's the head of the Dallas County Health Department right now, Zach Thompson. He talked about it on this show. At that time, Betty Culver was over. He was Betty's assistant. And he talked about it and said what he was going to do. And believe me, he did not miss that prediction. He said this would be the most addictive thing ever happen to any people anywhere in the world.
Well, I was saying that same thing in 1980. Because, see, it hit the West Coast first.
And then they took it to Florida, Miami area.
Went to New York. I mean, the major metropolitan cities. And I mean, it was by design. See, we don't understand that there is a major conspiracy. We're not needed anymore in America. We're not needed. And we're not going to get any support in any way at any cost. We're going to be locked up. You know, I was telling you on the break about this young kid that was 5 years old, lived around my office when I was taking all the little kids around my office out to the ranch on Saturdays and Sundays and working with them. And we made a difference in a lot of them's life. But it was one little 5-year-old kid, and he was too young to go at first. And after seeing that his living conditions, I made a decision that, hey, I'm going to take him out. And I'm going to work with this little kid. But he lived in the crack house. He didn't know who his father was. He was rejected by his grandmother. And it was like, this little kid was hated by everybody. And I really didn't understand that. But this little kid grew up angry. Now he's doing 40 years in the penitentiary. Now,
Let me ask you something. Stigmas are usually bad. But are all stigmas bad?
It's
well, wait, I'm going somewhere. Okay. The stigma, see, there used to be a stigma in our community on out of wedlock births. Boy, that used to be a stigma once upon a time. It was removed.
Right.
And man, we've been in a jet on a nosedive ever since they removed that stigma. Now I know I'm making a lot of women mad out there. Cut your mic on, Annie.
Here I am.
Are you old enough to remember the stigma of out of wedlock births?
Yes.
How you think it's gone since it was removed?
Well, it's definitely different. Definitely different.
I mean, it's better or worse?
Well, I can't make a judgment like that. I just have to say it's definitely different.
Cut it off. You go. Then you tell me after the show, yeah, you show. No, I don't. I'll cut it off. You know it has not gotten better.
When 75 to 80% of young kids in the African American community is growing up in a single parent home, it has gotten worse in our community.
Oh, God. Let's go to our phone lines. Annie, you're disappointed. That's all right. Let's go. Which one is next? Let's go to line 3 and say, good morning, Reverend Crenshaw. Good morning, Reverend Crenshaw.
Good morning, Dr. Barnett.
Fine. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm making it fine. This is an interesting conversation goes on.
Is your radio on?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, cut your radio down because we're getting a lot of feedback. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this pope, which was Petrus Romanus, he was supposed to be Peter the Roman. But since he was an Italian, but he was from South America, from Argentina and Latin America, he wasn't a Roman, so he didn't become Peter the Roman. Therefore, he became St. Francis Assisi. That was the original term that he was supposed to use, Peter the Roman, but he wasn't a Roman, even though he was of Italian, Italy. And so you had Batman and Robin. Let me tell you about that. I used to think it was stupid when Batman and Robin would be chasing somebody and then get to the car, and Batman would stick out both arms and go, Robin, we look both ways before we cross. But think about that today. These kids are get off of us, and they'll get off of us and be walking to their left. and they'll be listening to the right.
Mm-hmm.
And traffic will be coming, when that sign come down, that real stop sign on that bus, and they'll be looking straight at their right. I've seen it too many times. Now, the thing, individuals here, what were you saying about there was some kind of device that, was it some kind of charming device, or some kind of, one of these, like, in India and places like that where they have home and all, is that what you were saying, some kind of trance-like device? I don't know
Some
what
type of device?
I beg your pardon?
You said I was talking about some type of device?
Yeah, in the ear. These kids use these earphones.
That was someone. That was the caller they called in. It might have been Mr. Pitre. It might have been Robert that said they don't speak because they have these earphones in their ears, and they will walk by you. They're not even paying you any attention. They don't speak, and she feels like that's very disrespectful.
Well,
that's what I got from it.
Not only that, but they program the mind. They program and you look at TV, and that's programming you catatonically out too, also.
Yeah.
And then, have you ever heard that there was some 8 blocks of Nubian African culture beneath the Vatican in Roman Catholicism?
African fellowship?
African Catholicism. African culture concerning our culture.
Well, we're going to have to understand the Roman Catholic Church. 3 of the first 5 popes were black.
Oh, okay. So that's
that was a strong black presence in the Roman Catholic Church from the very beginning. And when they split with the Greek Orthodoxy, they split over celibacy. And there was many went with the other groups, Greek Orthodox, but no, there's always been a strong African presence, although you won't see that on TV in America, because actually it was made up out of Central, South American, Spanish people, speaking people, and Africans really is the biggest population of the Roman Catholic Church, because when you go to Europe and different places, those big old cathedrals are nothing but museums. They don't have anybody in there worshiping hardly. So,
no. They got balloons and they got mosques now.
Yeah, well, they're definitely not there, so you have to understand what's really going on and what you see on Western television. All right. We thank you for your call and comment.
And thank you very much.
All righty. That includes the line 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Noel.
I know it.
Good morning, Noel.
Hey, Barnett.
Yes,
How y'all doing? Hi, Robert.
Great. How you doing, Noel?
What's going on, man?
Yeah.
Look, last week you guys was talking about the South. Has anything changed?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
is the South better?
Now,
mm-hmm.
And you can tell the atmosphere. If you've never been down in Mississippi or anywhere like that, I didn't notice this until I got ready to leave. But if you walking in a Walmart in Mississippi and some white people coming, do you know they will not move out the aisleway? But you have to go around them.
Is that right? What part of Mississippi is that?
I didn't notice it at first, and then they really still got that stigma that somehow they inferior. But you have to go down there to believe it. If you're ever down there, you notice this type of stuff. And I was sitting down one day talking to a sheriff's deputy, and you know what he told me? This country was built on Christian morals. You know what I told him? I said, ask them Indians that.
Oh, yeah.
Ask them Indians and slaves was that the case.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you don't have to ask the Indians and anybody else. Just ask yourself if that is true. Sometimes people can take Christianity and stamp it on anything. Any of their actions justify their bigotry and hatred. People can, but I can appreciate those in the South, like Mississippi. I appreciate them because they do not pretend to be your friend. They let you know where they're coming from. You have to watch this fella that's wearing that three-piece suit, that's carrying that briefcase, that fella that has chauffeurs and have maids and butlers. That's the fella you better watch, because he'll smile in your face, and he's really cutting a zero in your back. So that's who you better watch also.
But Reverend Barnett,
Mm-hmm.
you know we got 2 kinds of crack in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know it. Huh? What is
That
it?
other one is these cell phones. Now, y'all was talking about helping the youth.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried this. I do construction.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried this. The young people, if they got a cell phone, you ain't going to get 10 minutes of work out of them in 1 hour.
That's right.
Because they're so worried about that phone. They can't do nothing else. I mean...
Yeah, you're right. Texting and all that. Yeah, that's, you're right.
Every one of them, these companies now have to put up signs in the workplace that if you use your phone on the job, you fired. But I'm telling you, it's so bad now. It's just like addiction to crack. And I asked a friend of mine, I said, why did you get your kid their phone? He said, oh, I got it for emergencies. Well, if it's emergencies, it looks like you can get about 100 minutes on the phone. And then if they have emergency, they wouldn't even use it.
Well,
so don't they use us as an excuse to do it?
Yeah, you have to wonder what were they doing before the cell phone was invented. What happened with it?
What did we do?
Yeah.
We did without it.
Yeah. So I mean, this is utterly ridiculous. Right. And Robert, you mentioned it's the parents.
We got some.
You can't get them to do right. But anyway, I'm going to get off the line and let somebody else talk, Robert and Reverend Barnett. Y'all have a good day now.
All right.
Thank you, Noah.
These kids don't buy cell phones. Yeah. Parents buy them cell phones. Parents give them cell phones. But why? Are they too young? Are they too young to really... Are these parents too young? They really don't know how to raise their children.
Well, it's a lack of knowledge. I mean, our problem has come from
ignorant.
A lack of knowledge and ignorance. And then, see, you're teaching these children how to be ignorant. Because these children today, they were born to this environment. They didn't create it.
Yeah.
See? But when you taught how to be ignorant from birth to your teenage years, you're going to be ignorant. And then when you're
saying they can't ever break out of it.
Well, it's going to be difficult. Somebody or something going to have to help them come out. But when you look at our community is ignorant. The habits of our community is ignorant. The way of life in our community is ignorant. See, we got to come out of that, Rev. I mean, see, when we talk about things that does not benefit us as a whole, I see. Yeah, I mean, we're in trouble, Rev. I'm just telling you, it's in trouble.
Robert, I heard people say that don't bring Preacher on him because he talks about us.
Well, I deal with reality. I deal with reality. Reality. I deal with reality. And I ain't trying to make no
deal with it the way you see it.
God has given me the knowledge and understanding and the way of life. See, because I'm out here trying to help. Now, these folks, they don't want to be criticized because of their actions.
Yeah.
But see, God got me going all over America, helping youth, working in this community. Now, some of your leaders, no, they don't.
And we want to talk about that. Things that you're doing nationwide. Right. All right. I tell you what, it's break time. That clock has a glare. I can't tell time by it. I tell you what, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Want to find out about upcoming events at KNON? Want to see pictures from past events or need information about the station? Then you need to like the official KNON Facebook page. It's easy to find. Just go to facebook.com/KNON893. It's the KNON 89.3 FM station-produced page for Facebook. It's the easiest way to keep up with what's going on here at KNON. Like us and share with your friends today. That's facebook.com/KNON893. Accept no substitutions.
Dallas J. Spivey Productions presents the Gigantic Gospel Concert 2013, featuring some of the gospel artists like the Rance Allen Group, Dr. McKenzie and the Highlights, George Dean and the Gospel 4, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QC, Tim Rogers and the Fellas, Little Roy and the Revelations. Saturday, April 13th at Friendship West Baptist Church, 2020 West Wheatland Road in Dallas, with the Rance Allen, Dr. McKenzie and the Highlights, George Dean and the Gospel 4, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QC, Tim Rogers and the Fellas, and Lil Roy and the Revelations. Saturday, April 13th. Doors open at 3 p.m. Show starts at 4. Tickets at ticketweb.com. Friendship West Baptist Church and J. Spivey Productions at 877-291-1918.
Top Dollar Tax Service. Tax preparation offering services for business and personal taxes. Electronic filing, W-2s, Schedule Cs, 1099. Student credit funded in 24 hours. That's Top Dollar Tax Service, located at 3333 Cedar Crest Boulevard in Dallas. Their phone number is 214-941-1176 or on the web at www.topdollartaxservice.com. Serving the community for over 8 years, a CPA is available. They are open Monday through Saturdays, 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. and Sundays by appointment. For information, Omar at 214-941-1176. That's 214-941-1176. Hey.
All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. I'm here. I'm arguing with Annie over here. I'm arguing with her. She know I'm right, but she will not admit it. All right, okay. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Our special guest this morning is Mr. Robert Pitre. Y'all get on edge and get shaky when Mr. Pitre starts saying these things, but hey, the truth is light.
And Reverend, you know, and a lot of the preachers, you know, has taken that position too, that, you know, they don't want to hear the truth, you know, and you know, my deal is that, hey, brother, I got one life to live. I got one life. God has blessed me with this life, and God has given me knowledge and understanding, and I made mistakes in my life. You know, I mean, I've been able to overcome.
We all have.
Yeah.
We all have.
So,
but you have to turn around and be vigilant to try to rectify,
right,
instead of wallow.
Right.
And I see a wallowing of people that's have been deprived or missed the boat somewhere. They seem to wallow in it instead of really trying to struggle to overcome this. Now, we've always been a people that all people make mistakes, but we didn't wallow. Right. We get up and dust ourselves off and take off again. And so I just don't see, maybe because of the lack of emotions, I don't know, lack of things that are in us now that once was not in us, that cause us to wallow.
Right. And it's like we stuck in the mud. You know what I mean? We're going to have to get that four-wheel drive in our life.
Motivation.
We're going to have to get out of the mud, you know. And in reality, it's nothing better than reality.
Yeah.
Nothing.
All right. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. All right, let's go back to our phone line and say good morning to William on line 3. All righty.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Good morning, William.
How you doing?
Fine. You all right this morning?
Right, and to your guest. So, I listened to your show last week, and you were talking to Eddie Bernice.
Yes.
All you did to me was you served up slow hanging curveballs right over the plate. She was zinging them out. And I wanted to get in to ask her one question, and so since I can't ask her, I'll ask you and your guest.
Okay.
And I don't like a lot of symbolism. I like substance.
Okay.
A question to you: are you concerned that our president does not have any blacks in his cabinet. He doesn't even have a press secretary, a deputy press secretary.
Well, last time I saw, the Attorney General was black, isn't he?
Well,
hello.
Well, that's one, but
are you familiar with Ron Kirk, the former mayor of Dallas?
I think he left.
No, he's leaving. He hadn't left yet.
Well, I don't think he's going to be there.
Well, when you say he didn't have any in his cabinet, are you? What about the secretary to the United Nations?
Well, he was supposed to name another one, but I was thinking about the ex-president who had 2 black Secretary of States, and that's high up in the cabinet, and both of them were highly qualified.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, to me, this president, he can't seem to put anybody in those high positions like that.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you on that because to me you have a valid argument. You have a valid argument, but he does have some. He doesn't have nearly as many. To me, yes, he's kind of overweighted with white males in his particular presidents in his administration. I'll agree to that. And when we begin to realize what's going on in this nation, there are some things you have to think a step ahead of those who would try to stop you. Robert, did you say anything?
Well, I was going to bring it locally when you deal with, we have black city council people and state representatives in our community, mm-hmm. and look at the results of our community. You know, when you look at Southern Dallas and mm-hmm. you know, lack of economic development and the problems that we face right here in Dallas, Texas. Mm-hmm. You know, you have black leadership, and what you know, I think that, you know, when you look at it in reverence, it's a shame, but our community in many cases prosper better than they are now with having some of the black politicians that we have in this city.
William, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Where do you live? What area?
I live in South Dallas County.
Okay. Are you better off now? Or is your community better off now than it was 20 years ago?
I think so.
You think so? What city?
DeSoto.
You think DeSoto is better off than it was 20 years ago?
Oh, yes.
You think the school district scores were higher than they are today?
Oh, I didn't think you were going to go there, Reverend. I understand.
Hey, Reverend Barnett, deal with the truth. Now, we going to deal with the truth.
That school district is in worse shape than Dallas Independent School District.
Less jobs.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, but I don't hear you.
Yeah.
Going there.
I don't hear you. Talk to us.
Well,
you made these accusations. Now you talk to us. I'm just telling you. Until African Americans begin to elect people that are truly concerned about the people, rather than themselves personally just trying to be grand and make them some money, it's not going to get any better. Sure, we all love to have our own elected people who look like us represent us, but think about it. I guarantee you, every level of government except for one, you're represented by a black person. I guarantee you. Your school. What color is your school board member?
My president is black, and
your city council person.
Black.
All right. Your state representative. Talk to me. State representative.
Black.
All right. I forgot. You're not covered by the governor. Your state senator.
Black.
All right.
Hey, your police chief. White.
Yeah. And then you can go all the way to the White House, and you pretty well represented by blacks all the way. Now, here's DeSoto sitting one spot, Cedar Hill in the other. Where are 95% of the businesses in that area? DeSoto, Cedar Hill.
Cedar Hill.
Thank you. And you say DeSoto is better off today than it was 20 years ago? No.
Oh yes.
No.
Well, tell us what's so much better.
The housing is better. It is much cleaner. You can call up there too.
Oh, no, man. Come on now. You can go back with Falls Farm 20 years ago. It was spectacular.
Man, them white folks running out of DeSoto so quick, they renting their houses out. You know, they running out of DeSoto.
Trying to get away from there.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if you try to come out here and buy one, you'll see if they just getting them.
Don't worry. I'm sure they're overcharging you for them houses.
No, they got deals out in DeSoto.
Yeah,
you could buy.
Overcharging the
You could buy a 4,000 square foot house for less than $200,000
in DeSoto.
Yeah.
Well, that's
they're trying to get rid of them. They're trying to get rid of them.
Well,
you know why they have so many of them?
Yeah.
Because we moving out and they moving. They moving out and we moving in.
Yeah. Now, brother, we've got a problem, and you might as well get on board and face reality that we have a lack of representation that in most cities they would not put up with this. With the wealth of Dallas and with all that has gone on and going on here, we don't do any better. Dallas not like hardly any other city on earth. It's very wealthy. Dallas is super rich.
But the city.
But the people who represent you don't demand the things that should be going on in your community.
And in most cases, they're in position to benefit themselves and not represent the black community like they should. You know, it's one thing that what white people do, they elect people with money. Mm-hmm. So they don't get in office trying to get
white
rich.
People they're not going to tolerate that.
Yeah,
they ain't going to tolerate that.
But we do, and we accept it.
Yeah, as long as we voting like it's a little 5-year-old, 4-year-old king and queen contest.
Right. And once they vote them in.
They're there forever.
Yeah, and then they make all the decisions. They just make decisions. Mm-hmm. They don't come back to the community and say, hey, you know, this is what we have before the city council, or this is what we have in the state. What can we do? What should we do as a community? How do we benefit? No, they down there cutting deals when somebody come to them and say, well, okay, if you do this here, I'm going to help you do this here. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I got a party at my house, and I want you to be there. Because I got some people I want you to meet.
Yeah.
See,
but it will not.
Hello.
Yes, it will not benefit the masses. No. All righty. Okay. Thank you.
And there's one more time. I've been in this city for 36 years, and I can tell you that it is much better. It is much better. People doing whatever.
Well, people that's moving there
and
doing better.
And also, let me finish, and I just let y'all go. If you take a 4,000 square foot house and sit in Highland Park, and you can't touch it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what we're talking about. What a 1,000 square foot house under 200,000? Well, of course, there's a lot of cities you can buy 4,000 square feet under $200,000.
Well, you better not be cut.
But you can go to Forney, Ellis County. There's a lot of places. So that's not a good comparison saying that.
Well, don't get caught out there.
We have a great city out here.
It's good. It's a good city.
Wait a minute. You have no businesses. How can you have a great city with no businesses?
This is a bedroom community.
And you got to go somewhere else to work.
This is a bedroom community. It's always been a bedroom community.
You know what? If they ever start putting taxes, commuter taxes on these cities, especially Dallas and Fort Worth, man, y'all will be in big trouble out there. You better get somebody that's going to come there and develop businesses in DeSoto.
We're fine. We're fine, Reverend Barnett.
All right, fine. All right, okay. You keep on being fine. All right. I'm just telling you, it's coming. It's coming. Commuter taxes is coming. And you think you can just run into Dallas, suck all the money out here, and run back out there and go to sleep? No, it's going to change.
Them white people is running out to churches out there. They running out to churches in those communities.
I've been in Dallas. I've been in Dallas since 56. And we started in South Dallas. Yeah. Then we ran the Oak Cliff. And now we out here.
That's right. That's right.
It's been going on for a while.
Better than you ever done before in life.
Yeah.
It's not something that is Just it's been going on.
Look.
Remember when we was
Just remember now. Remember who you're imitating.
South Boulevard and all that.
Remember, you're imitating your oppressor. Thank you. All right, we got to run. We got a line for the call. 972-647-1893. Good call. I'm glad you disagree. I love those calls that disagree. 972-647-1893. Where did we go? 4. Let's go with Billy on line 4. Hello, Billy?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Very quickly, I just want to run something by y'all, and then I hang up and let y'all talk.
No, don't run off. Now, don't throw something out there.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Listen, first of all, y'all talking about the crack. The federal government started this back when the Black Panthers started unifying us. That's when the crack came in.
No, crack didn't come in at that time. Crack came in the 80s. The Black Panthers started its unification program back in '66.
If you do history, you'll find out they used one of us to destroy us. Okay.
I know. FBI did that. Yes.
The next thing about that is we're not unified. We are not unified until black people started unifying, and then we're not going to ever come together.
Right.
All over this state of Texas, and if you wanna understand it, Mississippi and Alabama is not really racist. Texas is the most racist state in the United States. They're a throw a rock and hide your hand state. Everything they do is under the table.
Tell us how we need to unify. Tell us how we need to unify.
We have to come together and start to agree. Now, black people will set and we're not going to vote. They will throw you under the table. Now, I was hearing you talking to the man a few minutes ago. Listen, when we elect politicians, we have to elect, first of all, godly folk. Because crooks ain't going to go up there and make things work for us. We have to put people in there to have compassion for people. People who don't have compassion will take money, and then they will not do nothing for us. But there are a lot of people who are set with the red, white cans and the gold cans in their hand, will not go to the poll and vote. They will not stand behind you, and then they look for you to look out for them. Now, let me jump on them athletes. These people go around here and buy these high-dollar tennis shoes and stuff for their kids, but these athletes will never come in their community and talk to their kids about nothing. And then I'm not a racist because I got friends in every nationality, but they'll make these high-dollar, and then they'll turn around and won't marry now one of our sisters, but they'll go get another race and put a ring on their finger. Our sister's just as good as anybody else. Okay, let me dive on something else. We got ministers. I'm not hating monger. I know you're a pastor.
Now don't say nothing and end up in hell now.
I'm not going to end up in hell. But we got to stand up and say right is right and wrong is wrong. Listen. That Bible says God made a man for a woman and a woman for a man, and I'm going to stand on that. All this stuff they coming up about a man, a man, and a woman, a woman is wrong. And I think that they ought to be man enough to stand up and say that. But they don't want us to do that. And that's leading our children wrong. Now, as far as our children, they ain't got no business with no cell phone. We need to go back to that AT&T, Sprint, and all that we had in the house. Because when we came up with them cell phones, we took a computer in at the tower and took millions of folks' jobs because we took away operators. That's how come unemployment is so high. Every time they come out with an ad, you got people in lines all around corners waiting to buy it. Then you say unemployment is high. Yes, it's high because you're taking a computer and taking folks' jobs. We have to rise up.
So how they
was talking about back in the gap when folks had farms, when they had to set out on them tractors out there in the dust, they had black people out there. But now they got them air conditioners on them, and they got the radios in them. Now they don't need black people to drive tractors. They got their own folks driving tractors now.
But guess who used to own
and all this kind of stuff? They got their own folks doing it now.
Guess who used to own farms though years ago? Guess who used to own farms?
We did.
Thank you. Why did we give them away? We were culturally conditioned not to own anything. Sell it, get that money, buy you a new car, move to the big city, and live the life of luxury. We were sold those bill of goods because we had a lot of things that we once had. A lot of things that we wish we had today.
And we had principle and morals and respect for each other. We created our own jobs. We were the builders.
Well, when I first came to this state, sir, but all over the state, black people were doing concrete work. Now you see it every now and then.
Yeah.
Road jobs.
Right. Now I agree with you on
and all this,
some of the stuff.
You don't see that now.
Right.
You don't see that now. 121 on the east side of 35 in Louisville, that 121 toll road, it belonged to a Mexican company for 50 years. They got a toll off it. The state of Texas don't get a dime off it. You see, we are letting this happen to us. We have to stand up and stop this crap.
Well,
now, I was looking at the news.
Until we change that man we look at every morning in the mirror, it will never change. We say but we need to change that man we look at every morning in the mirror.
Yeah. But we have to be unified, sir.
Until that man in the mirror start thinking unity. Now, unification coming with us, we've been ill-conditioned so long to not live unified that it's going to be hard. That's going to be a hard thing to do. I'm sorry, I hate to have to stop the conversation, but we're up against the break, and I guarantee you, all you hanging on the lines, I will take your calls quicker coming back in just a few moments. We'll take a short break.
You're listening to KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
In 2009, a Texas school superintendent declared that sex education classes were unnecessary in his rural district. Most of the area's school kids live on farms, he explained. Therefore, they get a pretty good sex education from their animals. It's this kind of thinking that makes Texas so special. That specialness has now flowered in our state Senate. Ken Paxton, a full-fledged right-wing Republican from a Dallas suburb, is proposing to ban Planned Parenthood from providing sex education materials to any Texas school. Paxton says the Women's Health Organization favors sexual freedom for females, and, well, we can't have that in our classrooms, can we? Of course, Paxton is really just pandering to anti-abortion and anti-women's rights extremists. Planned Parenthood has become the favorite whipping girl of that far-right faction, so piling on it is considered great sport by cheap-shot political opportunists like Paxton. Interestingly, neither he nor his Planned Parenthood-bashing supporters have found any examples of the demonized organization's materials being used in Texas classrooms. And they won't find any, because the group does not even offer a sex education curriculum to schools. But Paxton's bill is almost comically panicky, prohibiting anyone who is merely a member of the group from providing information or instruction to sex ed classes. Ramping up this goofiness, one far-out alarmist even testified that Planned Parenthood's secret agenda is to teach children how to use sex toys. This is Jim Hightower saying, lest you think that Texans generally are as off the wall as the Paxtonites, a recent poll shows that 73% of voters, including 69% of Republican women, approve state funding for the kind of family planning services that Planned Parenthood provides.
This is William, your videographer for the KNON talk shows. You can watch church information and forum by going to the KNON.org website. Click on schedules to the left side of your screen, choose Church Information and Forums page. Scroll to the bottom of that page, then choose your favorite show to watch or download. This show will be ready for viewing by lunchtime Tuesday. Have a great day.
Yo, what's up? I'ma kick it with the line, y'all know. Yo, Slim, can I kick it like this? Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love, sent by one from heaven up above. Take Graffiti is simple and plain. This ain't no game, you know what I'm saying? What? Yep. Here we go.
All right, we're back for our second half at 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. All righty, we can delve a little bit in our African American history. Frederick Mackey Jones built the first automatic refrigeration system for long-haul trucks. Later, the system was accepted in various carriers, including railroad cars and ships. Mr. Jones' new method initiated a change in the eating habits and patterns of entire nations and allowed for the development of food production facilities almost in any geographical location. Frank McKinley Jones, an African American. When you eat that shrimp coming to you from all over all out of the seas and all out of the Atlantic, everything, you can thank Frank Jones. He's the one who invented the refrigeration for seafood and all other foods that are shipped. Also, the first on this date, in 1827, the first black newspaper, the Freedom Journal, was opened and published in New York City, the Freedom Journal, in 1827 on this date. Also in 1869, Hiram R. Reeves made the first speech in the Senate of the United States of America, opposing the readmission of Georgia without adequate safeguards for black citizens. This was the first official speech by a black man in the United States Congress. 1869, Mr. Hiram Revels. All right, and we have here rebel troops in Zaire takes the major city of Kinganzi in an effort to overthrow President Mobutu Seko. All right, this was in 1997. Just so much going on, but we'll read some more in just a moment. But I promise you I will take your calls and I will be vigilant. I will not stay with one caller so long, but when they're interesting, sometimes we stick with them. All right, let's start at line 1 and go across. All right, let's say good morning to Grady, line 1. All righty? Good morning, Grady.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett and Mr. Kerry.
Mr. Pitre.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pitre.
Good morning, good morning.
What I'd like to topic to talk about this morning, how can we revamp our community, Mr. Pitre? How can we put businesses back in our community,
well, one of the main problems, right? One of the main problems in our community, it's an economic embargo. Businesses, if you want to go in business, you can't go to banks and borrow money to create jobs like other communities. See, other communities is flourishing with investments. And see, when like guys like Randy always say, we need to do it ourselves. But the federal government regulate banks, and it is by deposits. If you have $1 million, every $1 million deposit, you could loan $10 million. And see, what we're doing, we're putting money in banks, but the banks are not investing back in our community. When you invest in your community, you're talking about developing jobs and opportunity, and you're cleaning up your community. Like all over America right now, gentrification, where they're going in and buying up the inner cities, and whites come in and develop it, and they push us somewhere, and we lose our community all over America. So what we have to do is we have to invest in our community to create jobs and opportunity, and we got to clean our community up with these drugs. And if it take making a deal, these drug dealers say, look, if you sell drugs in our community, we're going to make sure you go to jail. Now, you need to stop poisoning our people. See, we have learned to accept drugs in our community, a blighted community, homelessness, and go ahead, you.
So what I'm really touching base with is like, okay, it's
have your radio on?
Like that, something that we can handle. What about something like that?
I mean, we need everything in our community. We need everything. You know, we need more clothing stores. We need the same thing in our community as these other communities. See, they have built cities all around Dallas, and we don't even have a shopping center in our community that we built. And they building shopping centers, they creating jobs and opportunity, and we just accept just have an old blighted community with no reinvestment. You know, you can't even get money to...
Well, here's what.
Right.
We vote for people who will not address that issue.
Right.
They will not address that issue of going to Bank of America, Chase, any of the rest of them. They will not go and start protesting and start leading sometime economic boycotts against these banks who fail to lead. Right. We don't have a policy. I don't know of no politician, black politician, ever address that issue.
No, they don't. But see, but the people in the community, see, you may not want to be in business, but your children and grandchildren one day might want to be in business. So open up those doors. It's unfair. Everything that's unfair, you need to stand against it. You know, and Rev, that's my position. Yeah. If it's unfair, I'm not going to accept it.
That's right.
Yeah.
One more thing, Rev Barnett. Yeah. How can we stop people, you know, like predatorize our community? You know, we still have insurance people, you know, that paying policies on an insurance pay for $3,000 for 30 years. You know,
well, that's called whole. That's called whole life insurance, right. And anybody who participate.
Mr. Pitre, you know, it still lingers in our community. Right. We have no way to get out of it.
Right. Well, one of the biggest things that discriminated our community for years were insurance company, because the only thing black people for years until here in the later years could buy was a burial policy, a whole life burial policy for years. We don't get insurance. We don't have agents coming by talking about investments and talking about how you can retirements and different things like that, things that help you to live a better life. Insurance companies usually don't offer this in the African American community,
and they feel like it's more risk in our community.
Yeah, I don't know, but we are.
I think it's his phone.
Is that his phone?
I think it's.
Yes, it's my phone.
Yeah.
And so, but we thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Yeah, and because we don't get the amenities many times in our community. This is why a lot of times our people don't know. Don't know what's going on around them. The amenities that are offered in other communities, but we can offer these amenities to ourselves if we ever got ourselves together and got banks to invest where they're supposed to.
Well,
they sign an agreement with the United States government that whatever community they're in, they would invest in that community, but they don't do it. We don't have politicians to stand up and see that we don't track behind them. There are a lot of things, not only politicians, lawyers, different people can stand out and go to these bankers, these I call them banksters, and tell them, hey, we spend money, we invest in your bank, we deposit, we do everything that every other group do, but we get no reciprocity off of our money in our community.
Right. You remember when I had signs on my fence for
all around your fence
about banks?
Yeah.
I made them get right. You know, and then, but the community had to get involved. See, we got to, you know, I mean, that was my effort.
Yeah.
You know, it was not no organization in our community saying take a stance and a position. It was my position because I knew it was wrong.
Yeah. All right, that cruise line 972-647-1893. I'm sipping off this coffee this morning that Doc Dockery makes. This is Knon coffee, the world's best coffee. I guarantee you this is the best coffee in the whole wide world. I guarantee you, Robert, that you drinking.
Right.
Oh man, that stuff there is harsh compared to this. This is much smooth. This is the best coffee in the world. I'm telling everybody, drink some of this coffee.
Well, can I get some of this coffee?
And I guarantee you, Doc, any more have I drank it all? Right.
Hey, you know what, Rem? Just looking at you, look like you getting young. That coffee might be making you look young.
No, that runs in our genes in my family. All my sisters and brothers, I'm the baby, and they are in their 70s, and they all look like they're in their 40s. And I literally tell the truth. We age well, thank God for it, and most people who listen to this show age well, because I'm going to keep you on your toes. Even if you don't accept the information, I'll keep you mad anyway, but as long as you keep listening, I'm happy.
Okay. What sound like Rev, but you might have some people that dislike you, like you say.
Oh, well, that's understood.
The truth hurts, Rev. The truth hurts. That's right.
That's understood. And you're going to have old Pitre on there. I said, well, what did he say wrong? He don't say anything wrong, but don't mix it with that junk. Don't mix it with that slop. Yeah, get you just drink some out of that pure Knon coffee, and y'all come down here and get some. I kid you not, they haven't asked me to promote coffee. I'm just telling you.
Oh yeah,
this is something good.
That's good, Reb. It's good.
Is it good? Is it smooth?
It's different. It's different.
Yeah, it's smooth. All right. Let's go to our phone lines, and let's go to Brother Ransom on line 2. All righty. Good morning, Brother Ransom.
How you doing there, Reverend Barnett?
Fine. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I've been listening to y'all since you first started.
Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I was checking out everything everybody was saying. You know. For one thing, everything really starts with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm talking about getting everything back in order with our people.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like say for instance, everything has to be taught.
And that's so true. Church, that's so true.
When we learn about church, we are taught.
Right.
All right. When we learn about school, we are taught.
That's right.
So, all right, where are our leaders at?
Well, Brother Ransom, you and I talked a long time this past week, and you're one of our major leaders because the ideas that you have in your head and what we talked about, we implement that. And let's look at Orientals. How many Orientals we have on the Dallas City Council? No.
No, really.
No, you can go all up and down. And they have the mentality that they're going to get out and make themselves better. If you don't have a black governor, a black senator, there are things we can do for ourselves. Yes, leadership is supposed to be there, but there are just some things.
Cut you off. Not to cut you off, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to get to the down because see, we got people that are in high places.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Roger Staubach and them. They doing everything for their side.
Mm-hmm.
We got Emmitt Smith and them. You know, we got other people. You know that's way up there. Well, different kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, say for instance, like all these black folks got all these big businesses.
Mm-hmm.
All these big preachers got all these big churches. Them are leaders. They got to get out there with these youngsters to teach these youngsters.
Mm-hmm.
How we going to have somebody like when John Wiley Price leave, when Al Lipkin done left? We got to have somebody go up in them offices and stand these youngsters, but they got to be taught. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
If we teach them, then jobs are going to come to these different kinds of places.
Yeah, but if the jobs come and they don't know how to do them, that's not going to happen.
We'll learn that too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
They need to be trained. They need to be trained. They need to be trained.
Everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
That's including working. God says my people perish for lack of knowledge. That's in the world. That's in work. That's in the word. That's in going higher. That's in everything you do. That's in everything you do.
Now, you have volunteered yourself to help train.
I'm ready.
That's leadership.
I'm ready.
To take young people and teach them things we took for granted. I thought this is where it's supposed to go growing up. I was taught how to lay carpet, lay tile, just, my uncles. All the men around will teach you that. Yeah.
Like I said.
But I tell you what, Brother Ransom, we're going to talk again this week.
even about the law. I even know about the law. We even train them on that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we got to teach them all this. We should even have a place where people even train them on calculators, computers, even about the stores. See, we should have all this.
Well, we're working and trying to put it together where our young people will have somewhere free to go and learn these particular skills and trades. Everybody is not designed to go to college, but even after they learn these skills and trades, they can still go to college, and that's just icing on the cake. And we want to teach them these
one more
particular.
thing.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off, but the guy in DeSoto, I live in Lancaster. Just like y'all said, it's not no business of ours out with her.
No.
The other thing is, he just not getting there on that side, so he's feeling like he's living the life of Raleigh. I've been there for a long time.
I understand.
Out this way.
Yeah.
See, because I've been doing jobs for people like that. $1 million houses in McKinney and Southlake and Westlake ever since I was 5 or 6 years old. And I've been meeting black folks like that from that own record companies came from Houston, named Rocket Robin, stayed out there in Wiley, Texas, right across from Don Carter's when I was a little kid. So he just not getting there.
Well,
this ain't nothing new to me.
It's a learning process.
He feeling like he living the life of Raleigh.
Yeah.
But the same way you can go up, you can come down.
Yeah, all right. That's why you need something that can last. And we're going to get with you, and we're going to start this trade thing. And I want to talk with some union people and different things, because we're going to put the whole row in there, because we don't want people to be working once they learn a trade, and once they get their apprenticeship in, they learn how wages should go. All right, thank you, Brother Ransom. 972-647-1893. It's break time? My God, time passed fast this morning. All righty, we're up against a short break, and you can call us at 972-647-1893. I'll be right back.
Is your child overweight? 35% of children in North Texas are overweight or obese. Did you know that childhood obesity can be a precursor to long-term physical and psychological problems affecting health into adulthood? There are ways you can help your child avoid these issues. The Dallas Area Coalition to Prevent Childhood Obesity promotes healthy lifestyles through physical activity and nutrition. For more information, call 214-944-4212 or the Community Council of Greater Dallas's website at ccgd.org and click on their health page to find out how to help the kids in your life.
Dallas Jace Five Productions presents the Gigantic Gospel Concert 2013, featuring some of the gospel artists like the Rance Allen Group, Doc McKenzie and the Highlights, George Dean and the Gospel 4, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QC, Tim Rogers and the Fellas, Little Roy and the Revelations. Saturday, April 13th at Friendship West Baptist Church, 2020 West Wheatland Road in Dallas, with the Rance Allen, Doc McKenzie and the Highlights, George Dean and the Gospel 4, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QC, Tim Rogers and the Fellas, and Lil Roy and the Revelations. Saturday, April 13th. Doors open at 3 p.m. Show starts at 4. Tickets at ticketweb.com. Friendship West Baptist Church and Jace Spivey Productions at 877-291-1918.
Would you help the world to burn? This is Sonny Boy Mark, and I'd like to take a minute here to tell you about over 60 minutes of great blues listening available now on KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. This is some great stuff, folks. 15 tracks from the Two Tones, Blues Boy Bo, Buddy Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, Johnny Red and the Roosters, the Chris Watson Band, the Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, David Millsap, Sir Loin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, and JJ and the Detonators. The 1,000 copies we made are selling fast, and we won't reissue it. Get yours now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records and Rewind Music. The CD is available as a download at cdbaby.com. All proceeds benefit KNON, sponsored by Forever Young Records. Vinyl copies available at Forever Young Records only. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org. Your ears been bending for some blues? Well, feed them the real thing with Texas Blues Radio Volume 5.
All right, we're back on Church Information Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. We got Annie, disappointing lit. She's she's producing. She's on the boards. That's Annie you're talking to, y'all.
Taking care of business.
Yeah, she doing that now. She did that part. And we have Doc Dockery. He's our film producer. He's headed to Hollywood. He's just stopping by here to get brush up on his skills, and
might take us with him, Rev. He might take us with him.
Oh God, he can't even get us into Germany.
Rev, I had a cab driver years ago that used to work for me. Ended up going to Hollywood and becoming a star.
Is that right?
Yeah, cab driver. He worked for me. Cab driver, white cab driver.
He used to work for you.
They worked for me.
Well, he didn't reach back and get you.
No, Rev, but, see, you
must have been a mean employer.
Well, I helped him. He's a good guy.
He's mad with you.
But my position has been, I've helped many people in this city, Rev, and I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I mean, it's just the way of life and helping people, through knowledge, reaching back, giving them opportunity. Because, a lot of times people just need just a little support to get on their feet.
Yeah.
Just a little. And a lot of times when you need...
You got on yours with $300, huh?
Yeah, you can't get it. So I understand, I understand what it is out here.
I know it's rough, but you can make it. 972-647-1893, the number to call. Where are we? Sydney? All right, let's go to Sydney. Good morning, Sydney.
Yeah, I live down past DeSoto also. I live in Midlothian. And I've had that problem with say you got 900 in the school and you got 28 black.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And I had a problem with they had the N-word in a book they were reading and on a movie, and my children came home with that. Now I'm retired and they're out of school now, but when I asked people in the black community to come up there and we go, protest them to get that out of there, I had no help.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So they had a right.
What I did, I went up there by myself.
That's right. That's what you got to do.
And told them folks how would they like to have some of our TV stations up there with me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I did this by myself, and the next day they got rid of all that.
Oh, their response,
yeah. You got to understand.
On the problem with Obama, that man is putting the best people that are qualified for these positions in place. And I believe he's doing a great job.
All right.
Now, who we need to get rid of is Rick Perry. Because if that rascal does not approve Medicaid, I'll help the young and the poor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we need Medicaid for all these people, and the government's going to give the state money also to help with this. This man has lost his mind.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, now wait a minute, I ain't through. We can talk about this as soon as I get through.
Okay. But we're going to get a show to you.
You, sir?
No, I was just kidding. I was saying we're going to get a show to you.
Yeah. We have so many of our brothers and comrades coming out of the penitentiary, white or black. They need jobs too. You know what I'm saying? And if we can help them, maybe they won't go back.
Well, we got so many that hasn't been to penitentiary that don't have jobs.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. And they won't give them jobs.
But we got to help our youth to not become a criminal.
Exactly.
See, give them the opportunity that they need in growing up, and give them some knowledge and skills and principle and morals. Yeah.
I create jobs myself. I'm retired, but I still buy stuff, to create jobs myself for people to work. And if I can get the job, I will hire,
caller, put him on hold, and I'd like to get your number, get his name and number, and like to talk to him. He's offering jobs and giving young people an opportunity. We want to get his number because we're going to create a list of people that's really out there to offer them some jobs, and they got training and different things. We want to put that out there, so get his number. All right, let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Reverend Wright. All right, good morning, Rev.
Good morning, Pastor. Good morning, Dr. Pitre. How you doing this morning?
Good, great, man, great.
Great show. I like the response, but let me just share a couple of things with you. And you had the couple of on the last week, and I was just sitting to call and ask her. But listen, 4 years ago, Robert, in 2009, the city of Dallas gave Yadon Mila $4.4 million for some property across the street from the veteran hospital where he was supposed to be building this huge facility to put people to work. And 4 years later, there's not one thing built on that property.
You talking about that property there right next to, is that the Urban League?
No, sir. Nothing. On down the street, right across the street from the Veterans Hospital. They gave this young man $4.4 million. And Eddie Denise Johnson said to him a while back in the morning news trying to bash her about it. But until this day, the pastor, there's not one piece of dirt that's been moved from that property. Now, how you going to give taxpayers money away? That money could have been allocated to the Urban League or to non-profit organizations that would have put our people to work.
You know what? I tell you, Ma, I hate you didn't get in last week. I hate you. It's coming back to me now. I had forgotten about that. I tell you what, we'll be having the Congresswoman on, and you said the morning news was bashing because she brought that up.
Right. They tried to bash it saying she was confident, but we're in less of an investigation right now. And of course, we'll get in touch with the councilman in that area. That's Dwayne Caraway. Mm-hmm. Great, but it's about accountability. Your caller said that people without knowledge shall perish. Mm-hmm. And one of the things is, and we mentioned John Walter Price, what have John Walter Price done since he's been in those offices? Until we hold elected officials accountable. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a bunch of jobs supposedly in South Carolina, Barnett, to build Motor King Brick. We contacted that office. They're no longer taking applications in Dallas anymore. So I'm going to find out how many people in Colin Davis District that she allowed to get jobs to build that highway on there. Yeah. If they get the money, they're gonna get what they deserve. So we're also investigating in that to see how many people were hired out of the southern sector to help build that bridge. Because there are plenty of young African American men sitting around on that every day
doing nothing.
And they needed those jobs. And so we're looking into that. We're investigating that to exactly what's going on there. So it's about it's about holding our elected officials accountable and saying, we've seen them sell their souls for money, and the word of God tells us the love of money is the root of all evil. We're investigating another little case of one of our new state representatives, and hope that she didn't make a mistake and take money to side with somebody who didn't do it so to come back to Holland as well. But we got to start holding these people accountable.
That's right. Now this is what a politician is supposed to be like, is what you hear right now, Reverend Wright. These people that are coming into the community and building new things, the first people that should be hired and given opportunity for those construction jobs and all types of jobs that are there are people that live in that community. And I guarantee you, I haven't seen any stats, I haven't seen any paperwork or anything. I guarantee you the people in that community have not been hired, and you're going to have a city council person or city state representative, who's ever, is this TxDOT, is this the city of Dallas, who's building that bridge?
TxDOT as well, but it was some money through the city of Dallas that allocated.
Dallas had some money in it also. So these people should be given the first opportunity on those jobs.
Well, I never heard, Mr. Davis may have, but I haven't heard Calvin Davis them advertising in the community. I'm in South Dallas constantly doing little things, and we've never heard that around anywhere. And so I would just want to know that she needs to be accountable. But we put together more than 50 black men. Until we're going to start. You're going to see 50 black men do things as a matter of moment, and we're going to let they see us come together. These kids don't have to do anything. But I see 50 real black men fighting for the community. That's how we're gonna take it back.
That's right. Just put my name. Just put my name on that list. Just put me. So
you know, I heard that list, but we are children right now, and they are all fired up, and they doing things every day. Not necessarily we didn't see on TV, but we fighting every day to make a difference for the young men. This is what's going to do. Just taking it. You have to tell sisters, y'all done what y'all supposed to do, but y'all want to move to the side, and y'all want to get with 55 too.
All righty. Look, and I want to say this here to Reverend Wright. Now, if you're coming from Oak Cliff, 45 going north, coming to South Dallas on 45, the state of Texas is getting ready to close the Martin Luther King, Pennsylvania exit. You're going to have to exit at Lamar. They're trying to keep you from coming to South Dallas. They're getting ready to take South Dallas.
Oh, yeah. You know, we thought that, Robert, years ago.
Well, right now it's getting ready to happen. It's already been the exit has already been. They're getting ready to block it off when the construction start on the 175 Dead Man Curve. You're not going to be able to exit at Martin Luther King, Pennsylvania.
That's
exit.
the heart of South Dallas.
Right. See, they gonna fix where you don't have to go. Now your liquor is already in on Cliff now, so they gonna fix it where you don't even have to come over there. Just come to the Grambling Prairie View game and the fair. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh God, man! There's so many conspiracies that you know. See, this city is about rich folks.
Well,
man.
you have to understand that whole thing with the Interstate 45. See, the first fight was with Elsa Faye Higgins and
they didn't want to exit at all.
They didn't want to exit at all in South Dallas.
Now they're going to take your main exits
off of there.
Off of there.
See, Elsa Faye and JV stopped that.
Right.
Stopped that. Made them build some exits into South Dallas.
Right.
Now, remember the bridge. That project where somehow they were going to build this super highway down alongside the Trinity River. You do remember that? We just passed that. That's the Army Corps of Engineers told them that's impossible. So I don't know what's happened to that money. I don't know what's going to. It was
these rich white people is getting paid. See, they're getting paid. This city is about rich white people, man. All your bond money go to the rich folks.
Yeah.
These parks downtown, all these bridges. We're sitting there poor with our thumb in our mouth accepting this. You know, I mean.
All right. Because we sit back silent and don't say a word.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Thank you, preacher. All right.
Thank you, Doctor. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, then. All right. Dick Losing line 972-647-1893. Let's go to Tony on line 1. All righty. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning. How y'all doing this morning?
Fine. You doing okay?
Yes. I'd like to make 2 points real quick. Number one is a solution that we might have. In New York, they have one of the biggest black banks in America. Mm-hmm. In Atlanta, they got 2 or 3 insurance companies, one of the biggest black companies. And in North Chicago, they have the investment companies. Why don't we chasing them and have stuff like in Dallas, and where you have these people who have these satellite banks in the community? I mean. I would think that our local politicians, who always run on economic development, would call these people and say, hey, Dallas has this, and give them the stats where they can open up insurance investment companies here in Dallas. And I'll leave y'all with that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you have banks already. You don't have to create new banks. You make the banks in your community loan money. They regulated by the federal government.
I think he's talking about
Community Reinvestment Act.
He's talking about African American owned banks.
These people are not leaving their community, coming down here to try to help black folks that won't help themselves. They investing in their community.
You know what? We had an African American bank, Sunbelt, here not long ago, but we had prominent preachers.
They wouldn't put money in that bank.
No, they spoke against it.
Right. But what happened?
See, stuff like this is what
right.
Really. Then they allowed them to come build a motel with Sunbelt Motel right beside the bank.
Right.
Making the bank look bad. We protested in Pickett. They took that name off of there. Until we get people that's going to really be accountable.
But let me say this here, Reverend. Now, in the 80s, all the banks in the state of Texas went out of business. All the banks.
That's
See,
right.
we had one bank. All the banks, all the savings and loans.
We had many banks to fail.
The petroleum companies, you know. So, but we just had one that went out of business. And see, we need.
Well, no, the mercantile went down.
Well, I mean, we're all the banks. I'm talking about black banks. I'm talking about black banks. Every bank in the city of
that got more coverage than all of these gigantic white banks. Republic,
right?
Mercantile. We can go on down the line.
Okay, but listen at this. Let me add this here. But State Bank of Texas came in and bought the old Sunbelt Bank building. Started right there, the Indians from India. Now they have 4 banks. See, they started right there where we were. Now they are one of the largest independent banks in America.
Okay. Yeah. And their population is probably not 1/20 of the African American population here. Anywhere
but they do
in
business with each other. So they do business with each other.
That's the key. I tell you, we're up against a short break, and we'll be back. All right.
Top Dollar Tax Service. Tax preparation offering services for business and personal taxes. Electronic filing, W-2s, Schedule Cs, 1099. Student credit funded in 24 hours. That's Top Dollar Tax Service, located at 3333 Cedar Crest Boulevard in Dallas. Their phone number is 214-941-1176 or on the web at www.topdollartaxservice.com. Serving the community for over 8 years, a CPA is available. They are open Monday through Saturdays, 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. and Sundays by appointment. For information, Omar at 214-941-1176. That's 214-941-1176.
If it's time to get rid of your old gas guzzler, the Knon Vehicle Donation Program can help. There's still a market for those old vehicles, and if you donate it, you're helping to support quality programming here on KNON. Just call 877-KNON-AUTO or go online to knon.org. We'll take care of everything from pickup to tax paperwork. That's 877-KNON-AUTO or online at knon.org.
R&R Productions presents the Sensational Harmonizers album debut. Saturday, March the 30th at the Greater Macedonia Primitive Baptist Church, located at 8343 Bruton Road in Dallas. Featuring the Southern Sons of Memphis, Tennessee, Reverend E.J. Lee and the Rapturers of Dallas, Kings of Harmony Plus One, Minister Israel Davis, and the new outstanding gospel singers from Fort Worth. Guest MC, Sister Francis Smith. Doors open at 4:30, program starts at 5. Tickets available at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie and Bill's Records on Lamar in Dallas. For further information, 214-275-7560 or 214-375-8150.
We back. Marion Barnett took a break, and he should be back shortly. But it's time for African Americans in Dallas, Texas, to see exactly and understand what it takes to make our community better. And it's not going to happen overnight, but we're going to have to take a stance. We're going to have to take a stance, and we're going to have to believe in what we're doing, because we're going to have to reach back and help our children. See, when you criticize our children by walking around with their pants hanging down and shoes untied and hair uncombed, they were born into this environment. They didn't create it. Our community infested with drugs and crime and hopelessness. We have allowed this to happen. These children is born into this environment. It's time for us as a people to take a stand and change our community.
You think people really won't change?
No.
You think they've lived in squalor for so long that it's become acceptable?
But you got to fight for change. You know, change is not just going to happen. Just you say, well, I want things to be different. No, you got to make things different.
Okay, I tell you what. Let's just take some callers right quick, cause they've been waiting patiently, and we're gonna try to move forward. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to caller. Good morning, caller. Is she gone? All right. Okay. All right. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning to James. Good morning, James.
Yes, good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing good. Mr. Wynn saying good morning to you also.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Wynn.
James from Palestine.
Yeah.
Yes, good morning, Robert.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. I've gathered more listeners in East Texas here down this way. I've been telling them about the community forum and all, and they're tuning in. We need to get back. One of the things I've been hearing a lot of is respecting and educating our young people. They need to have self-respect and appreciate themselves. Know that they are not junk, you know. And a lot of that, I've been hearing a lot about education this morning. And what I try to stress, I work with the NACP, and I'm an advisor with the youth group. Now, they have a lot of good committees there. And if kids in school get involved with the student body, you know, where they make decisions on you, like if your children have a concern in school, their parents might not come, but if you have a student body with a president and all those others on there with you, then, you know, you have a voice to have something to answer your concerns instead of just getting angry and sitting there sulling and not getting involved in your education and want to be mad at a white teacher or whatever that issue is, and you're stepping back like you're competing against ignorance.
All right.
So the other thing is we need retired, like Reverend Barnett, you've been saying, those richest treasures of ours is retired teachers and the ministry alliances, the government and politicians. As our brothers keepers, we all get together, like Robert saying, we meet up and we always point out the problem, but we need to get a nucleus, a real nucleus from here in Palestine, Texas, and all over East Texas. We all come together. Dr. Clement Glenn has been working on something like that, going around Texas, putting a conference together. We've had 3 or 4, but we're planning on moving even more. So, but on the visit there, hopefully we'll get to talk about that more. And as far as the Confederate flag, Reverend Barnett, that is still an issue here in Palestine. And today they will have the Dogwood Trails parade. And you remember I mentioned to you earlier, the Chamber of Commerce here denied the Sons of the Confederacy to march in the parade and have a booth in the parade activity. So they're concerned. They went to Channel 7 TV and voiced their concerns about that. And it's all stirred up down here. But if we had more chambers of commerces and economic development groups and all come together, black chambers of commerce, white, whatever, and stand together on economic, we can remove a lot of this hate. There are hate laws on the books. And within each city, there are city statements, city missions, and city goals. If you go downtown Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, and you look at their mission statements and mission goals, just for those that have equal representation and carrying across the board. And if any part of Dallas, Fort Worth feel like they're being neglected, you need to go in those books and hold them accountable.
Well, nothing comes without a fight, so
that's it.
You got to struggle. But James, hope to see you all next week. All righty?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your call.
What I was thinking, won't you try to get some of these city council people that's running for re-election to come on your show?
They ain't coming on here. Huh? They're not going to come on here.
Well, you all just...
They scared because they know I know the city as well as they do, if not far better.
Well, we need to call them out. We need to call them out. If they won't come,
they feel like if they come on here,
but they represent us, though. They ain't got no. You know, like my mother.
They represent themselves and they want to win.
Right.
So they ain't gonna come before me.
I told my mother one time that I didn't want her. She said, "Boy, let me tell you something. You don't have no wants. You want what I want you to want."
I know that's right. Yeah.
So they don't have no wants. They need to come on your show.
I tell you what,
and address the people.
Let's get to job line. All righty. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Mr. Greg Barber. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Fine. How are you?
Doing fine.
Any jobs out there?
awesome jobs out here this morning on our SAT job line. Brought you every Saturday morning during church information and open forum here on KNON 89.3, the voice of the people. This morning on the job line, we have Prime Therapeutics is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.primetherapeutics. That's Primetherapeutics.com/careers with an S. Once again, that web address is www.primetherapeutics.com/careers with an S. Uline is looking for customer service representatives and warehouse workers. They're asking you to apply online at www.uline.com. Once again, that web address is www.uline.com. Convergent is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.convergent, CONVERGENT.evolve on demand. That's EVOLVENDEMAN.net. Once again, the web address is www.convergent.evolve on demand. That's EVOLVENDEMAN.net. Equinix is looking for warehouse specialists. That's the number for inquiry. 822-9280. Once again, Equinix is looking for warehouse specialists. The number for inquiry is 800-322-9280. Overhead Door is looking for warehouse specialists. They're asking you to apply online at www.hourlycareers-overheaddoor.icims.com. Once again, overhead. They're asking you to apply online. www.icims.com. Amtrak is looking for various positions. They're asking you to apply online at www.amtrak.com/careers with an S. Once again, Amtrak is looking for various positions.
I tell you what, Greg, you're cutting out. Would you fax that job line over to me at the church? And those of you who are trying to get a job, want a job, call me at 972-290-4995. Greg, you're cutting out. We can't hear you.
But I have a question.
Greg, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear.
Yeah, you're cutting out. Robert, I want to ask you a question.
How you doing, Greg?
Okay.
Greg, do you think that when they apply online and they send their resume and all the information, and when they go to the job, if they go with their pants hanging down, shoes untied, hair uncombed, do you think that they will get a job?
No, sir.
Okay.
All right, that's what I'm saying. All right, just fax it over, Greg, and y'all can call me at that number, and I'll give you the information that he have. But we have a bad connection this morning. All right, thank you, Greg. Great job as always. Great job.
Thank you, Greg.
972-647-1893. What's our next one? Line 2? Line 1? With 1 or 2? 1? Let's go to Michael. All right. Good morning, Michael.
Hello, Reverend Barnett.
Fine, Michael. How are you?
Oh, just dealing with it. But I had two suggestions. I heard a call for local leaders to educate our young. I have one suggestion, and that's Marvin Crenshaw is someone who's willing to help educate the young about how to get into the system to bring about these positive changes.
Mm-hmm.
He no longer will run for public office. He now is ready to train those younger than him.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said when property rights are more important than human rights, y'all playing some white boy games on me. So the Texas legislature in March of 2013 is making it harder for poor people to camp out on abandoned land and buildings. That's what Dr. King said. And rich people are going to put more barbed wire up. It don't matter what color they are, Indian, black, all of them that put barbed wire up is doing what Dr. King said, please don't do. Please let poor people have some place to hang out late at night.
Yeah. Well, they had land grants years ago that caused them to be so wealthy in different states, and gave away land to different people, and that's how they gained their wealth. But we thank you for your call and comment. All righty, thank you.
Yes, sir. But Marvin Crenshaw is a local.
No, Marvin and I are good friends. No, I'll talk with Marvin.
Be a part of educating the young. He can't do it all, but he's a good reference.
Don't worry, we're going to contact him. I know where he lives. All right, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Randy. All righty, good morning, Randy.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
If we haven't learned that property rights in America are more important than the people, then we haven't studied our American history, because what they did to the Native Americans don't show you that property rights are more important than anybody's rights.
That was just manifest destiny, wasn't it?
Well, that's what the letters that they put together said, manifest destiny. But you know what? I'm going to go straight to the point, because sometimes, my girlfriend says sometimes I have a bad point of beating around the bush trying to get to the point. So here's the point. Robert Pitre says he can't get no money from no banks here in Dallas. Tony comes on and says, hey, we should get other banks from other communities to invest here. Robert Pitre says the bank came from India and invested in up banks now. Now here's where I'm going to throw some money on the table. I only got $100 in my bank account. My house is paid for, but all I got to my whole life was $100 in my bank account, and I'm willing to take at least $10 of that and put it with $10 of yours, Reverend Barnett, $10 of Brother Petre's, until we raise about $500 or $1,000, and we're going to find a man and we're going to put him in business. Because just like Robert Pitre started his business with less than $300, my dad started this business with less than $300. So let's get on the ball. Quit complaining about banks who won't loan us money until the last house in Oak Cliff is mowed down and we're still saying we can't get no loan. Let's start putting some money on the table. Robert Pitre, Reverend Barnett, here's my $10. I'm bringing it Sunday.
All right.
See y'all later.
I'll see you Sunday morning.
But Rev, I'm gonna have to say that we got to get Randy on before the show ends. It just seems like you put Randy on at the end. Randy, you're gonna have to call in earlier when I'm on, where you and I could have a discussion. Reverend Barnett, what you may need to do is have Randy and I on the show together.
Yeah, I'm going to have a show.
You're going to have to do that.
You and Randy. Y'all bring your radio girls. You two duke it out.
Randy, keep your $10. Keep your $10 in your bank account, Randy. They might. Some of these banks you got to have at least $100 in the bank, so they'll take your 90 if you take your 10 out. So hold on to your 10.
All right. Do we have time for another call? All right, let's take one more. Where we going? Line 3. That Bill? Good morning, Bill. Is Bill gone? All right, let's go to another one. Where are we? Line 4. Good, Doc? Don. All right. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine. Are you all right?
I am fine. Good morning to you and Mr. Pitre. I want to pick Mr. Petre's memory. I met him. I'm a retired construction superintendent for Dallas County. He and I met over on a project one day when he came into the field office to look for the manager of the Martin Luther King Cedar Crest project, that gateway to South Dallas.
I remember that, Mr. Pitre? I remember that.
We had about a 3 or 4 hour talk because we talked about hiring minorities in the community. I just wanted to get out that if we tell the people in the community when they have these construction jobs, they are required to hire a certain percentage of the population that's in that community. It's posted there, and all they have to do is go to the construction office and ask. They don't have to have any experience. They can use them as just common laborers. They can learn that trade. Mm-hmm. That is required on all the county and city jobs. I worked for the city of Dallas for 33 years and retired, and then I worked for 11 years. You and I met. I was the only black superintendent that Dallas County had, and I was the only black superintendent that the city of Dallas had.
Wow.
And you and I talked, and you gave me one of your posters. You remember the poster?
Lifeguard for America.
Yes, and you gave me one, but you and I talked, and I had a black inspector that I had hired, and you met him. You remember that?
I remember that.
And we was in charge of that. So I've been trying to get in all morning, and I thought it's important that the people know, because I tried and tried throughout the time of that project. If you remember, there was a park across the street.
I tell you what, I'm completely out of time. I really hate it. I wish you'd called earlier, but you couldn't get in. I know, but call us sometimes. Keep trying to get in early. But we got to get out of here. We got to run. It's 9 o'clock.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Take care.
Okay. You have a good day.
And I hope you're still using that poster because it's all over America.
I'm using it too. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling. Thank you for listening. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. I'm Senior Pastor of Heavenly Joy Church. We're located at Bruton and Masters in Pleasant Grove. Come by and see us. Service will begin at 11 o'clock. Sunday school 9:30. You got to get out here and got to run. Coming next, Workers Be. Stay tuned to all the great programming right here on KNON 89.3 FM, the voice of the people. Bye-bye.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227 or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.